In this video, I'm gonna show you why failure is pretty much inevitable with whatever big goal or whatever big thing you might be trying or starting for the first time. But I'm also gonna review why if you approach things in a certain way, then success with time becomes pretty much inevitable as well. So there's this great quote by Thomas Edison, and one of the most brilliant men in history, a guy I really admire, a great inventor, one of our greatest inventors of all time. And he went through a really tough time trying to create big inventions like the light bulb, to get modern lighting and working with electricity, with direct current, and deciphering the mysteries of electricity. Back then, electricity wasn't this thing that we take for granted. Like, we know how it works. It's well documented. You walk into any college, university, they got volumes and volumes on the subject, and they got learned professors um, that can tell you exactly how it works inside out. But back then, there wasn't nothing of the sort, right? These were the guys on the cutting edge having to figure this stuff out on their own. And if you made a silly mistake, you got yourself electrocuted, or some other thing that you didn't, some other phenomena you didn't understand, and you got yourself killed. Like this was working on the cutting edge, and it was dangerous, and you didn't know if it didn't work because you made a silly mistake, or simply because it was completely impossible and would never work, even if your name was Einstein, right? Like this was a tough era to be involved in electricity. And so Thomas Edison, in trying to make the electric light bulb, supposedly went through 10,000 uh, attempts, and they all failed. And he's supposed to, and I guess some reporters were like asking him, like, yo, how do you feel about this? Like, you've been trying this thing 10,000 times, and you've been failing all this time. How what's your what's your view on that? And Thomas Edison is supposed to have said, I have not failed 10,000 times to make the light bulb. The invention of the light bulb is a process with 10,000 steps. So something like that. Like, so in the end, he viewed the 10,000 failures, or however many failures that was trying to invent that light bulb. In the end, he viewed them as just so many steps in a process that would take him eventually to the outcome he was looking for. So you didn't see each of those steps as actually a failure. It was like, this is actually getting me closer with each one of them that I do, because I just gotta go through the 10,000, and eventually I'm gonna get there. So here's exactly why it's inevitable you're gonna fail, guys. If you're trying to do something super like innovative and ambitious at all, which is kind of like inventing a light bulb, right? Let's say you're trying to um, learn a new language. That's something I'm doing, by the way. Like, I'm learning Greek at the moment, right? And when you go in and you start doing it, inevitably you're gonna fail, because when you enter a new space, you don't know what you don't know. Like, you're not gonna, like, on the first day be talking Greek smoothly, fluently, correctly on your very first day. Like, I had to actually learn the alphabet, right? Like, the Greek alphabet is not the phonetic alphabet that we use in the English language. It's different. It looks different. If you've spoken Spanish and you know Spanish or French, uh, or German, all those are actually easier to learn, in the sense that Greek uses a completely different alphabet. Like, those letters that you use in all those languages are not going to help you. They don't apply in the Greek language. It's completely different characters written differently. And so to this day, I'm not good at writing like those letters. Like, it's actually easier for me just to type them on a computer than to actually write out the handwriting, because I simply haven't had the same level of practice with those letters writing them out long form as I've had with, like English characters. So that's something to be aware of. When you try something new, um, you are inevitably gonna fail because there's just so many other things you don't know. All right, so failure is pretty much inevitable. So what you need to do is you need to accept that it's inevitable. If it surprises you and you expect you're gonna be perfect on day one, that's where you're gonna get down on yourself, because then you're gonna fail. But if you understand failure is pretty much inevitable, and like Thomas Edison, you embrace failure, you're gonna move along a lot faster, because you won't have that hang up of like, oh, I failed, now this means I suck, I'm not good at this. Accept failure is inevitable, and like Thomas Edison did, accept each failure is just another step bringing me closer to my end goal. And so now we actually get into why success is inevitable as well in the long run, and therefore what you need to do to get success. So the way that success becomes inevitable is if there are 10,000 steps that take you to your end goal, all you gotta do is you gotta go through the steps as fast as you can. So if you know, like, I'm gonna fail, but if I fail enough times, I'm gonna get to my result, I'm gonna be successful, then all you gotta do is just power through the failures as quickly as you can. A good example with this is like with learning the skill of sales. Now, sales can be scary to a lot of people, right? They don't wanna get on a sales call. And if you're in that situation, the way to get through that and become a much better salesperson, which is also how I did it, is to motivate yourself as much as possible to go and as many sales calls as you possibly can. Fail if you must, because you are going to fail. Remember, failure is inevitable. But after those first few failures, you're gonna be like, why did I fail? And then you're gonna go study a sales book, and next time you get on the call, you're a little bit better. You might still fail. You fail on a smaller thing than you did last time. You go study this thing, you come back on the next call, and as you keep studying, but you keep putting yourself through these failures, now you're getting better and better, faster and faster, until you get to a stage where like you're having a lot more successes and you're a total success in that area. So the faster you can go through the failures, and you never give up, and you keep coming back, and you keep on coming back and persisting and going on, that makes success inevitable. That's pretty much, if you look at Thomas Edison and his approach with the invention of the light bulb, that's literally what he was getting at, was I'm gonna keep coming and coming and coming back at this and keep hammering at it, until inevitably, eventually, I'm just gonna crack the code. I'm just gonna get this electricity thing working and actually be able to invent the light bulb. So that's how you do it, guys. That's how you make the inevitable failure actually a stepping stone to making success pretty much inevitable as well, and you get yourself to your goal, pretty much in an inevitable way. So that's what I had for you in this video, and if you need some resources to help you with your product sales, you can grab some of my free downloads. The links will be in the description.